Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I know it's been a week and I've not uploaded a video, but yes, a very happy Diwali to all of you first, and because of the festival I couldn't upload the video. Okay, but today we will be continuing with where we have left. We were talking about the Indian Ocean region. Okay, so what we are left with is the challenges in the Indian Ocean region and the way forward. Okay, so let's talk about the challenges in the Indian Ocean region now. Right now, so the first thing is the non-conventional security threats. These are the cases of on the coast of Somalia. You must have read about it in the newspaper that there are the cases of piracy on the coast of Somalia, and because of that, the region of Red Sea is particularly is is a region where basically piracy is something which is quite prominent. Then the transnational criminal networks for human trafficking and money laundering through the ocean routes. Then the climate change is something which is impacting the Indian Ocean region. So these are some sort of non-conventional security threats which are there in the Indian Ocean region. And then there is regional diversity. How can we say this? See, the countries are different and they are at a different level of economic development. There are very much most like developed countries in the Indian Ocean region as well, and along with that the least developed countries are also there. Developed countries, may if we take the example, they are the countries like Australia, they are countries like Singapore, and when it comes to the least developed countries, the countries like Somalia, Yemen. So these least developed countries are also there, and highly developed countries are also there. So that's why arriving at a consensus in the like economic agenda is something which is difficult. Okay, so this is also one of the like challenge in the region to come to a particular consensus because in the economic perspective, because of the levels at which the countries like differ in the case of development. Then China in the Indian Ocean region. So this is something which is one of the like very big problem, especially in the present times, because China is trying to increase its influence in the Indian Ocean region, right? So you must be aware about it because of some Chinese vessels which have been recently seen in the near the coast of basically near Sri Lanka, and also the increasing influence of China in Maldives as well. So basically China is trying to increase its influence in the Indian Ocean region, and which is a kind of concern for India. Okay, so that is also one of the issue. And just like example can be this string of pearls policy of China, which ports, Chittagong port of Bangladesh, Kyokpyu port of Myanmar. So these are the ports, like we will be doing it in detail, the string of pearls policy. And also the Hambantota port, it I have already talked about it when we have talked about the India-Sri Lanka relations, that Hambantota port, the port of Sri Lanka, has been leased out to China for 99 years. Okay, and also China is developing this I Havan project in the northernmost atoll of Maldives. So these are the various evidences showing the Chinese increasing influence in the Indian Ocean region, which is a cause of concern for India. Now we are going to do it in detail because it is important, like when it comes to the means perspective, and also some things which are there which are important from the perspective of prelims as well. Now thing is, why is China having increase in the having increasing interest in the Indian Ocean region? Definitely the one thing is to increase the to overcome this Malacca dilemma. I've explained Malacca dilemma a lot many times. I will suggest if you people are not aware of the Malacca dilemma, I have I have talked about it in the video of India-China relations. I'll put it in the description and I would request you people to watch it from there. Like how there is Malacca dilemma there, where is Malacca Strait, why is this dilemma, and how in order to overcome this Malacca dilemma, China is trying to increase its influence in the Indian Ocean region. Then is to check India's influence in China's backyard. Okay, in China's backyard comes the basically India, and then the Indian Ocean region is there. So China particularly wants to check its influence in the Indian Ocean region basically. Then So what are the evidences? I've already talked about the various evidences, like be it the string of pearls policy of China, be it the Hambantota port which has been leased out by Sri Lanka to China, and or whether it comes to the I Havan project in Maldives. So these are the various evidences that China is trying to have its influence or to increase its influence in the Indian Ocean region. Now, the important point which is important from the perspective of prelims is like which of the ports are the part of the string of pearls policy of China. So these ports are Gwadar port in Pakistan, Hambantota port of Sri Lanka, Chittagong port of Bangladesh, Kyokpyu port of Myanmar, and Marau Atoll of Maldives, Woody Islands, Hainan Islands, ports in Kenya and Tanzania, and also there are ports in Djibouti as well. Okay, so these are the various ports which are the part of string of pearls policy of China. Okay, so these now this is the picture showing the string of pearls. So these are the various like ports which are actually the part of, and also there are these ports which are in here in Kenya and Tanzania as well. So this is string of pearls policy, which is through which China is trying to have an influence in the Indian Ocean region. Okay, so because by the building of these ports, China is trying to have an influence in the Indian Ocean region, and these various ports are the part of this string of pearls policies. Like this is the Kyokpyu port, which is in Myanmar. This is Chittagong port, Hambantota port. Then here is this atoll in the Maldives. Then there is Gwadar port. Then here is this port which is there in Djibouti, and then there are ports in Kenya and Tanzania as well. So these here are the Hainan ports, and the Woody Islands which are there in the this particular region. Okay, so these are the various ports which are the part of string of pearls policy through which China is trying to influence in the to increase its influence in the Indian Ocean region. Okay. So now what is like basically India's response to this increasing influence of China? Okay, so India is having this necklace of diamonds policy then. Like in response to China's string of pearls policy, India is having necklace of diamonds policy, which is there in the Indian Ocean region. So which ports are the part of India's necklace of diamond policy? These are Chabahar port in Iran, Sabang port, which is on the Sumatra island of Indonesia, Sitwe port, which is there in Myanmar, Mongla port in Bangladesh, Changi naval base, which is there in Singapore, Duqm port in Oman, Agalega Island in Mauritius, and Assumption Island in Seychelles. Okay, so these are the various ports which are the part of necklace of diamonds policy, and I would recommend you people to like know their location and remember the countries through which these ports belong to, because there have been questions related to Agalega Island already in the previous year questions. So I would recommend you people to remember like the country to which they belong, and especially these Agalega Island and Assumption Islands. Okay. Then what is next India doing? Strengthening its bilateral relations with countries in the Indian Ocean region. And also now we are having this proactive maritime policy, which is the Sagar policy. That is, Sagar is security and growth for all in the region. This is the policy which is basically we are having in the Indian Ocean region, and we have already talked about in detail about the Sagar policy. All right. So these are the India's responses. Like basically, how is India trying to counter China in the Indian Ocean region and have an influence in the region? Okay. So this is it. So these are the like various ports which are the part of necklace of diamonds. Okay. So do remember them. So like various ports which are the part of necklace of diamond policy, parts and places which are a part of India's necklace of diamond policy. So I would recommend you to remember it. Then so now it's what is the way forward, right? Now when it comes to the entire thing of the Indian Ocean region, what can be the way forward for India? So the one thing is countering China. India needs to elevate, strengthen, and deepen its security cooperation with the regional partners like Sri Lanka, Maldives, as well as US, Japan, and Australia to protect its core security interest in the Indian Ocean. Okay, so there is need to counter China, and in order to do that, it's important to strengthen the bilateral ties. Then is enhancing maritime domain awareness. Beyond militarization, there is need to devise effective strategies to secure the Bay of Bengal region as well. Enhance cooperation between the various organizations. It is important in this direction. Then regional integration is important, like regional integration needs to focus on building up a cooperative security dialogue and effective apparatus. And also there is this thing that what we definitely, if we want to overcome the challenges which are there in the Indian Ocean region, we need to like we can say that we need to strengthen the ties with the there is need to strengthen these organizations which are basically for the Indian Ocean region, like Indian Ocean Naval Symposium or Indian Ocean Rim Association. So there is need to basically strengthen these organizations and overcome any kind of challenge which is associated with these organizations, so that all the countries can collectively secure the security of the Indian Ocean region, because it has recently become a hub for these illegal activities like terrorism or piracy, right? So it's important to increase the security in the region. And also, so in the conclusion, we can say that basically a policy of Sagar policy is actually a step in the right direction. What we need to do is to work, like the policy on paper is really good. What we need to do is to work towards its implementation. Okay, so this is also important what we can write in the concluding statement. The Sagar policy of India, it's a step in the right direction, but what we actually need to do is to basically in, to increase its proper, like to ensure that it is properly implemented so that the desired results can be achieved and security can be ensured in the Indian Ocean region. So this is about the way forward. So what I would recommend, like there is one question I would be asking. There is this group of islands in the Indian Ocean region which are called as the Vanilla Islands. So if you people are aware about it, do tell me in the comment section, like which islands are the part of these vanilla islands. Okay, so do let me know in the comment section, like if you people know about it. So this is all about the Indian Ocean region, like which is important from the perspective of both prelims as well as mains. So now I will meet you in the next class. We'll be talking about the other countries, the relations with the other countries. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you very much. Have a, like, stay happy and stay healthy.